Hello and happy holidays to all of you out there. I hope most of you have been good this year, but deep in my heart, I know that to be as true as Humvee keys and Chemlight batteries. But I hope you are ready for this week's batch of military news. Welcome to the Debrief. Before we start, if you guys have enjoyed watching this series, please consider supporting our channel by liking and subscribing. Okay, first on our Christmas list is an article from the Army Times titled, "Discipline is the New People's First Atop Army Leaders' Agenda." Now, as the new year is starting to shine above the horizon, people are starting to imagine new goals for 2024 in the form of New Year resolutions, and the Army's newest leaders are following in trend by highlighting new priorities for our not as lean, not as green as it used to be U.S. Army. The newest Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George, highlights that there are 4 top priorities for the Army moving towards the new year, and those are warfighting, continuous transformation, strengthening the profession, and delivering ready combat formations. Enveloping those priorities is re-emphasizing standards and discipline. Insert First Sergeant of Generation Kill yelling, "Police up those mustache!" In my opinion, this is a double-edged sword. One side screams, "Peacetime Army," and that is no fun for my boots on the ground boys and girls. But on the other side, there may start to be a shift away from the recent woke politics, and hopefully we get back to kicking out the fatties and making badass recruiting commercials that made me want to join in the first place. So this emphasis on discipline is projected to replace the old Army slogan, "People First." I hope it does, because I personally have never seen the military as a people first organization. Initially, the military is extremely selective in who they allow to join their ranks, and on top of that, of those people, they should be demonstrating the values of the organization on a day-to-day basis, and we should be rewarding those individuals who deserve it. In my mind, it is a little concerning that warfighting needs to be highlighted as a top priority, when in my mind, it has always been a top priority. The job is simply this: destroy the enemy, and we can't do that unless we have the right people. So, moving right along, let's talk a little bit more positive things. Let's talk toys, right? And not the ones your wife wants to get. The Army has finally announced that the Xm7 and XM250, along with the new advanced optic, the Xm157 fire control unit, will officially be fielded to an unselected unit of the 101st Airborne Division in 2024. Congratulations, Screaming Eagles, you get all the fun stuff. But the M4 and M249 SAW have been in service for decades. This is what I personally use, and now they're being replaced with what the Army is calling the next generation squad weapons. For those of you who are unfamiliar with these new weapons, they're manufactured by Sig Sauer and Vortex Optics, and instead of firing 5.56mm cartridge, they fire the recently developed 6.8mm cartridge, which is said to be better at defeating body armor and have increased accuracy and lethality over long ranges, which, if it holds true, is cooler than hell. But will it perform to the needs of dudes on the front line? That is my question. A select platoon from the 101st and a few members of the legendary 75th Ranger Regiment have been testing the new equipment, so hopefully the feedback that they obtain will aid the overall adoption of the weapons and optics. Everything said, I do have some concerns. Firstly, because the Army is adopting a new weapon system that uses different cartridges a little bit, and the 6.8 is indeed larger than the 5.56. they're going to need to update their gear to support the change, such as pouches. So that's not just an adoption of weapons, that's an adoption of an entire logistic channel. Of course, the new weapon system will only be fielded to combat units, so all you non-infantry people out there don't have to worry about switching it up and can stay safe behind your desks. So don't worry about that. But it's still a concern in my mind. Secondly, the new optics are so advanced, I am hesitant that soldiers will start to rely on their gear to compensate for lack of basic skills. At the click of the button, the Xm7 will calculate where to aim and compensate for distance and bullet drop. Even though this is super awesome, the last thing we need is an infantry soldier who can't shoot by themselves. So, concerns aside, Sig Sauer and Vortex Optics are getting hell of a payday out with this 10-year contract, topping out at $4.5 billion for Sig and $2.7 billion for Vortex. So, Merry Christmas to you guys, I guess. But lastly on the list, there is a frightening article from the Military Times titled, "Some Men Are Having Plastic Surgery to Get Chiseled G.I. Joe Jawlines, Just Like Myself." Many people outside the military believe that G.I. Joe is a representation of all service members. Although there is a good chunk of us that strive to be that jacked and patriotic, majority of service members do not come close. But I have seen a good amount of solid jawlines during my time, and let me tell you, they didn't get plastic surgery to look that way. The secret to getting a jacked jawline is years and years of eating tough-ass beef jerky from the PX. That will absolutely shred your jawline and make Cobra or any terrorist flee to the mountains and hide from your absolute chiseled jawline. Well, folks, that is going to wrap up this week's episode of The Debrief, as I said in the beginning of the video. If you guys enjoyed this video or series, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the PCFM podcast. Enjoy your holidays, folks, and don't eat the yellow snow.